This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. Let's do this thing. We're going into level 2 right now. 50-45 for the Portland Trailblazers. 4 minutes left in the first half of play. We got Mick Aussie in the house, and as we just stated, big slate of hockey tomorrow, all day long. Big game. The Edmonton Oilers, 12-game win streak. These guys are killing it. Man, it's nuts. And the playoffs, we all know that a team from Canada hasn't won the Stanley Cup since the 1993 Montreal Canadiens. Yet, you look at the Western Conference playoffs, it might be where, like, a team from Canada is going to make it because the Canadian teams are all so good, they're all going to be there. So as long as they don't end up playing each other too early, how it could play out. But the Winnipeg Jets are no joke. The Vancouver Canucks are no joke. And the Edmonton Oilers are scary as hell. So, forget about the Flames and everybody else and the Leafs in the Sens. And the Canadians, sorry.
Forget about the Leafs and the Sens.
Oh, the Eastern teams don't have a chance.
Ottawa and Montreal. Every other Canadian team will make
Montreal.
it. Yeah, the Leafs are struggling, though. They have to, there's no guarantee, Gabe. Imagine they don't make the playoffs.
If the Leafs don't make the playoffs, man, that's the end of the world. Then that's when you trade and fire everyone for real. It'd be like, losers didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah. No, you know what you say, Gabe? You go, this Shanna plan sucks, eh? The Shanahan plan, the Shanna plan, it's going nowhere. You're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're gone. I'm with you.
Oh, that'd be a disgrace. We'll get to that after about them not making the playoffs. I never really thought about them not making the playoffs, but all right.
No law.
I love the Canucks tomorrow. What's the line here? Canucks minus 130. Total 6.5. Shout out. We got 7 seconds here. Wait, I got to bring in the serious crowd here. In 5 seconds, then we'll get Mick. Shout out to everyone joining us on Sirius XM, channel 159. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We've got the global superstar. After Messi, It's Mick Aussie. What's up, Mick? How you doing?
Hey, talking about your Leafs, Cam, the only good thing about the Leafs are their colours, blue and white, but that was a beautiful thing when the Oilers came back from 2-2 to beat the Leafs 4-2. Half of the crowd were the Leafs people here, paid big bucks to go, and I loved it. They all went home crying, mate. Your Leaf fans are everywhere, and they're losers, just like the Dallas Cowgirls.
I just can't. Hey, what is this?
Wow,
come over.
They're everywhere, and they're
from all
losers.
Angles. Management,
They're
Mick
losers.
Aussie, tough day today. Yeah, I mean, he's coming in hard. They are losers, Mick. You are correct.
Yeah,
they are losers.
You're right, though, Mick. Tickets are super expensive for the Vancouver Canuck Maple Leaf game. It's like $1,300, $1,200 for a good seat. $300-400 just to get into the building type of deal. It's a hot ticket. I was going to go to the game. I was looking forward to it. But the thing is, it's at 4:00 local time, and it's smack in the middle of both NFL games. It's one thing, and my phone, I get NFL on my phone. So I get NFL games on my phone. But still, I would miss I could watch it in the Barty in the arena, but it would turn it into a sideshow. Right? Yeah. Oh, this game, and then I missed the first half of this and that. And, I'll watch the Leaf and the Canuck game on TV. Once I'm done doing the Sunday shows with Pharrell, the NFL is over. I'll start going to every Saturday night game and tearing it up and having a great time. I'm going to go to the playoff games. I can wait. What do you like tomorrow, Mick? Let's do this thing. What do you got for us? What are your best bets, Mick?
Well, first of all, NFL is way better than hockey. Hockey can wait till the NFL is over. Anyway, mate, I have done the calculation for your Bills and
anything else, Mick? You can do both.
He's like, No, Mick Aussie, his game, he's like Family Guy, equal opportunity offender. Like everybody gets it. He has
bunch of losers.
Everybody gets a piece.
All right, what do you got for us, Mick? Forget about the NHL. You're right. What do you got? NFL.
Yeah, and my calculation last week had the Texans winning. Can you believe that? And I've done it. I've done it for you.
They don't live in the past.
Game, mate.
What do you got this week?
Oh, you want my picks, or you want to run through the Bills and Chiefs game? I want to talk that one if you want to talk it.
I want the picks. Yeah, I want the picks. I've asked you for the last 2 minutes. Play the picks.
Bills and Chiefs.
Yes,
yes, please.
No, start with the Texans and the Ravens.
Yeah.
Ravens will win, Texans will cover. Collins will be great. CJ Stroud stands up in the pocket like no other rookie quarterback. He's fantastic. Lamar Jackson's 1-3 in playoffs. They'll start slow. They didn't do nothing in week 18. They'll come out slow. Ravens will probably win, but I hope the Texans win because I got them in this competition. So really hoping the Texans, but Ravens are good, aren't they?
I want the Texans to win outright as well. No offense to Harbaugh or the Raven fans or anything, but if Houston wins, then Buffalo could host Houston next week.
Yes.
Who do you like in Green Bay and San Francisco?
What do you got, Nick?
Oh, well, I got to take the 49ers to win it and take McCaffrey on the props. He's the superstar. He's the MVP to me. What, do you have 1 or 2 weeks off with an ankle? Lamar's good, but McCaffrey is the MVP. I like the Packers to probably cover. What about that? They destroyed those Cowboys. Absolutely fantastic. But people in media, they have a short-term memory. They don't have a long-term memory. They're saying how Jordan Love's been great the last 10 weeks. They nearly didn't make the playoffs, and he had a couple of rough weeks. So people are losing it, mate. But, yes, I like the Packers, hopefully to cover. 49ers too good at home, mate, and they're still my tip to win the Super Bowl.
All right, what about Detroit and Tampa Bay?
Well, it's the first time in years I've been proud to wear this blue and white. Look at this. Go to South Lions, my home team, Lions and blue and white. I've been wanting to be proud of the Detroit Lions for 26 years. Finally, I can be.
So you can wear this AFL jersey?
That's a nice jersey.
Lions to cover.
Nice.
Oh, there's a picture up the back here if you want to have a look.
Beautiful.
Lions to cover minus 6.5 is my best bet. I'll tell you what, I saw the Lions destroy the Broncos a few weeks ago. They played unbelievable. And the Bucks, I mean, how do we know? The Eagles were one of the worst teams in the last 6 to 8 weeks. We don't know how good the Bucks are, just how we don't know how good the Chiefs are, because the Dolphins were destroyed on defense. So I like the Lions to win it at home, and I damn well hope so, because that city needs some love and some wins. You know, they're being knocked down, car industry, unemployment, all that sort of stuff. Go the Lions, hopefully win.
Don't forget the Michigan Wolverines. Mick just won the national championship. There's been there's a lot of special. There's a magical thing going on right there, 8 Mile style. All right, we'll get Mick's Bills pick on the other side, and we'll get Mick out of here. We'll roll Rob Vino in. We got a packed house tonight. Tony Vinn is going to step up and in at 64-52 right now for the Blazers over the Pacers. Pascal Siakam's debut not going great. It was a back-to-back, and it looks like it for the Pacers tonight as we got about 20 seconds left in this half. I need some points. I jumped in on the in-game over, and I keep losing every in-game over NBA total that I make this week by like 2 points. It's happened like 3 nights in a row. It's been one of those little things, but we're ready to come out swinging tomorrow with the National Football League playoffs. And even though Mick doesn't care, we'll be watching some of these NHL games tomorrow, too. I forgot about the NHL.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud looked like he's been playing in the league for a decade as the former number one overall pick.
Give me the 9.5 outright. Plus 385 outright. We smashed the 49ers.
The Tampa stuff just doesn't feel repeatable.
I've always thought that Baker Mayfield was better than people give him credit for.
Make sure you are locked in.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Last year, the Purdue Boilermakers upset by the 16 seed Fairleigh Dickinson. Is history going to repeat itself?
Purdue is capable of winning 6 games in the NCAA tournament, but the fact is, until Purdue proves that it's capable of not just advancing, but advancing far in the bracket in March, this is going to be the storyline. And I've said that to you throughout the offseason.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
they were best friends. Like Siakam's best friend on the team was Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher's best friend on the team was Pascal Siakam. They're not American, right? So there's different cliques in the NBA, and they were very, very tight. So Chris Boucher, I got rattled seeing Chris Boucher and thinking about the memories. But Raptors responded.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. All right, I put a video up on Twitter of the new guitar that came from Edmonton. Do we have it?
Nice.
Yeah, here we go.
Looks
Here,
cool.
yeah. This is right out of the box too, and the guitar is so good. Normally, you got a guitar, you got to take it to a shop, get new strings, and do all kinds of new things to it. But as Ozzy Osbourne stated, if you're going to audition for my band, you need to do it with a guitar off the wall. And this is literally, I pulled it out of the box, and I was like, man. I said, let me see how it sounds. So let's see, man. It sounds good.
Wow, nice.
And that thing,
Shredding.
it's even brighter in person. The yellow.
It looks wicked. I love that
It's
color.
just like
it
hey,
looks wicked.
when you see it.
Yeah.
I never really realized you got a little Michigan yellow going on here on
It's
the
a
helmet.
good call. Yeah. It's hey man, that thing's pretty cool. That looked amazing.
Yeah.
Nice guitar.
When you get a guitar like that, you can't help but start playing 80s Sunset Strip Hollywood metal. But I'm impressed, Mick. Like I said, I'm going to speak fondly now of Edmonton. I never would have imagined that Edmonton would be the place that the guitar would have come from, of all
That's
places.
the best.
But
I like Edmonton now. They didn't break my guitar shipment. That's your campaign. I love it. Yeah, Edmonton's cool.
no, but you figure,
Great.
because I'm on this website where they connect you with stores all over North America, and it's crazy that you see the places. You figure, okay, Hollywood or something's going to have these, and don't. It's really random places. There's a place in Fort Wayne, Cam. I got a laugh out of that. Fort Wayne, Indiana. They had all these metal guitars for whatever reason. There's some guitar shop, right? And same thing with Edmonton. It was just this random place in Edmonton. Has flutes and acoustic guitars, and they had this guitar. It's probably been sitting in the back. It came out in 2018. It's been sitting in the back for 5 years, but glad to get it. And we're going to start shredding with it after the show here tonight.
Nice.
We'll post some more videos a little bit later on. Okay, Mick. So Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. What's your pick, Mick?
I'm going to go hard right now, Gabe. My calculation, I have an extra item added especially for this game, and it's item N. Who does the NFL want to win? And I'm extremely concerned about this. As Pharrell said, you can't touch Josh Allen. Well, you definitely can't touch Patrick Mahomes, so I'm extremely worried, and it's very obvious that the NFL want Taylor Swift to keep going to the games, and then they get millions of more viewers, so I'm extremely worried about that. That's 1 point to the Chiefs.
I wouldn't be worried about Mahomes so much. As crazy as it sounds, calls are going to happen bad either way. People, it gets in your head that they're out to get you, when in actuality, the refs are just bad. But I do buy into what you just said. Because the NFL is one league. Like, the NBA cares who's in the finals. They don't want Sacramento in the finals. They don't want Toronto in the finals. They don't want the Pacers in the finals. Like, they want the Lakers and the Celtics. Right? The NHL cares who's in the finals. The NFL doesn't matter. The Super Bowl ratings break the record every year, no matter who's in the damn Super Bowl. So it doesn't really matter to them so much. But there's no way in hell that they don't want Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl. Like, dude, like, she's bigger than they are. Like, she's bringing, like, she's helping them more than the other way around, right? So I get that. And if we want to get into the substance of it, I know who the referee is going to be on Sunday for the Bills game. And right away when I saw it, I was like, oh, dear God, you got to be kidding me. They did not. We know what they're doing here.
Is it Vinovich?
No, it's Sean Hockley. Hockley's stooge kid.
That's the best. Hockley's stooge kid.
And for the record, there's a bad track record of him screwing the Bills. Like, and people had the evidence.
Great.
The Bills average like 10 penalties a game when he's there, and like 6 when he's like. There's something to it. They, like you said, Mick, they already handpicked the referee, one of their own, Hockley.
That's concerning.
You know what's crazy is Roger Goodell is from freaking Buffalo.
That's what I hate. He's
like, dude,
people of Buffalo.
Like, why don't you help us and get them to the Super Bowl?
Can you believe this? He's from Buffalo, and he helps everybody else but Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's like,
his father was a season ticket holder of the Bills. He grew up as going to Bills games as a kid. He lived outside of Buffalo, like I think Rochester, outside of Rochester, but like he went to Bills games as a kid, as crazy as it sounds. Like that's where Roger Goodell got his NFL experience, going to Bills games. Yeah. Bills are going to win, Mick. What's the final score going to be?
Yes, I have the Bills, the calculation worked out. I have the Bills by 1 point. I think it's going to be so close, but I am worried about that. These NFL owners, too many of them, not all of them, they're money hungry and they want the ratings. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, Taylor Swift's so smart. She's probably already going to do Super Bowl next year, halftime show. Everyone else does it for free. The NFL guys, they're all, you know what, over her. They'll probably pay her $50 million to perform next year. She's so smart. When she gets married to Kelsey, she'll not only have a prenup, she'll take some of his money on the way out and sing a song about him as well. She's so big, mate. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah.
If anybody's getting a prenup done, it'll be her to protect her money from him.
Exactly.
So like he's got like no money in the real world next to her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you made $20 million a year, $15 million a year. She actually makes $13 million a show. That's what she makes, $13 million a night. So like she's raking it in. Okay, Mick, you know what? We'll get Vino in here in a second. We appreciate his patience. But I said this earlier, Mick, and I got no beef with Taylor Swift. You know what? It's amazing. Her story is amazing. Like, actually, it's not easy to become as big as she is. Like, she's one of the biggest artists of all time, if not like the biggest artist of all time. It's really insane. Like, she's just massive. But at the same point in time, doesn't mean I want her coming into Buffalo and taking our stadium over. So I said it earlier. I looked it up, Mick. It turns out her and Katy Perry have fought over dudes before in the past, and they don't like each other.
Ooh.
I say we invite Katy Perry to the game and
like
have her flip like as the honorary honorary guest, and don't tell anyone. Honorary guest tonight, 5-star Grammy Award winner Katy Perry. And she comes out with a Bills jersey. Stir the pot a little, Cam. Let's have some fun with this. It's a good idea.
So right.
If I was the Bills owner, I swear to God, I'd be like, you know what? Get Katy Perry on the phone. Tell her I'm going to send her a jet. We're going to give her $100K. Get her over here. Like, let's get her here for this game.
That's smart thinking, right? You got to make Mahomes' lady and Swift heels and make Katy Perry part of Bill's Mafia. Get everybody all worked up. I love it, Morency. Great idea. You know they're
Look,
not
tell
going to
Kim
do it.
Pagula, you got any of your hot tennis friends you can bring to the game and stuff. We got to like counter the celebrity stuff. Like,
Pagula got knocked out of the Aussie Open already. She gagged hard, just like most things in Buffalo. Bills better not screw up this
don't
damn
say
game.
that. That's
Let's
the
go.
problem.
I know. Sorry, just the facts, Morency.
Well-
just the facts.
Maybe she can go shovel the snow now.
Yeah.
See,
Tell her $20 an hour. Give her a shovel.
She can do it with her tennis racket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Mick, who's going to win the Australian Open?
Well, anyway, yeah, Djokovic. Anyway, this is how Taylor Swift wins over the fans that don't like her. Her song, one of her top songs goes, "I'm drunk in the back of the car, crying like a baby coming back from the bar." Well, she just needs to say she's coming back from the bar at the Bills game, and then everyone will love her. But that's what she'll be doing. She'll be drunk in the back of the car after the Chiefs lose.
She's actually an Eagles fan till she met Kelsey.
Yeah,
Not
she is
now.
an Eagles fan. She is still an Eagles fan, but obviously she's a Chiefs fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Till it's over.
Good stuff, Mick.
Yeah, I feel good.
Josh Allen is a playoff quarterback. CJ Stroud looked like he's been playing in the league for a decade as the former number one, not number two, number one overall pick.
Give me the 9.5 outright. Plus 385 outright. We smashed the 49ers. The Tampa stuff just doesn't feel repeatable.
I've always thought that Baker Mayfield was better than people give him credit for.
Make sure you are locked in.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Last year, the Purdue Boilermakers upset by the 16 seed Fairleigh Dickinson. Is history going to repeat itself?
Purdue is capable of winning 6 games in the NCAA tournament, but the fact is, until Purdue proves that it's capable of not just advancing, but advancing far in the bracket in March, this is going to be the storyline. And I've said that to you throughout the offseason.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
They were best friends. Like they like Siakam's best friend on the team was Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher's best friend on the team was Pascal Siakam. They're not American, right? So there's different cliques in the NBA. And they were very, very tight. So Chris Boucher, I got rattled like seeing Chris Boucher and thinking about the memories, but Raptors responded.
SportsRage Late Night. Only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. Let's do this thing. All right. Thanks to Mick Ossie for joining us. We were just lightening it up a little bit. Got to have some fun sometimes talking about. I'd bring in Katy Perry. Plus, I like Katy Perry, so I'd bring her in.
Yeah.
I like Katy Perry's music better than Taylor Swift. You're gonna see me roar. I like that roar song is good.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like those commercials
Rob
too,
Vino,
where she dresses up.
See, I can name.
And stuff. Yeah, I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
down with
she's
that.
great in that too. Yeah,
She's
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got a lot of money for that.
Damn right she did.
She got like $35 million or something to do that food app commercial. Serious money. But so Rob Vino comes in, and Rob's a little bit more serious than we are. But at the same point in time, I don't know if Rob wants me telling everybody this, but he goes, forget about bringing Katy Perry. And he goes, why don't you get that Tanya Harding's boyfriend, Galooly, to come in and take care of Swift?
Galooly, yeah, that's right.
Jeff, can you imagine? She even walks in the tunnel all the time, right? She always walks in the tunnel where the players are. Just suddenly Galooly pops out of the doorway. Boom! Down goes, and she goes, why? Why me? Why?
Dude, I
should have made fun of Kerrigan. That was terrible.
No, that was awful. Well, you know what? That's what we do. We have to, hey, this world's, the world's too serious. Are we allowed to have some damn joke?
Man.
That's the way we roll.
We're kidding. I love Taylor Swift. Yeah, we're just saying, like
we're just having fun here. But anyway, that movie was wicked too, by the way, Brent. So you got to see that I, Tonya movie. It was crazy. You got to watch it. It's pretty good. Showed you the whole thing behind the scandal. Very good film.
It's just so crazy to think that actually happened. Like that figure skating rivals on the U.S. figure skating Olympic team. One of them said, "You know what? I'm going to clip my rival out by hiring a couple of goons to hit her in the knee with a crowbar."
They were the stupidest bunch of idiots. Her crew too. They're meeting in Chinese restaurants and meeting. Like you should see the movie. You're just like, you are the dumbest people I've ever met in my life. Like, nice plan.
Well, I'm thinking back on it too. It's like, why would you guys do it in an arena in front of everybody too? Like, why wouldn't you just sort of like say, all right, this hotel she's staying at, we'll get her in the park. I don't even want to speak out loud. People will think, well, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying. Like, guys, really? You really could have planned this a little better. Right? But anyways.
Honestly, they're the dumbest criminals I've ever seen, Morency. Like, you might as well have just said, yeah, you're guilty.
That's a great episode of Seinfeld when they take Bette Midler out. Get out of my cab. You're that new Galooly. And Seinfeld's like, you think you have it bad? People are calling me Galooly on stage. Hey, Galooly.
That's amazing.
It was a big deal.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's good to see you, Rob. So let's get right after it, Rob. You and I always love talking about overs. I like the over, and most of the guests we've had on this week, I've heard people talking about weather. I'm an anti-weather better. The worse the weather, give me the over, okay? But all kidding aside, I don't think the weather matters tomorrow in Baltimore. And I brought it up earlier. Well, from Houston and a dome team. C.J. Stroud played at Ohio State. Nico Collins played at Michigan. Like, you don't have dudes that this is not the Miami Dolphins and Tua that's from Hawaii and stuff like that, right? It's a little bit different situation. And anytime, bro, we talked about it last week when I said 24-21 gets us there in the Cleveland game. Game sailed over the number, bro. 24-21 gets me here again tomorrow in this Baltimore-Houston game. Am I wrong? Do you agree with me? This game's going over the number, Rob.
Yeah, no, I'm on it already. I use the example 27-17 is what the bookmakers are telling you, 9.5, 43.5. And to me, that seems so doable. It's unbelievable. But you're right, Gabe. When they pushed it down to 43.5 earlier this week, I think that it was, people were noticing 20-mile-an-hour winds, 22-mile-an-hour winds. Those have all since been tampered down to like 12 or 13. These are two of the strongest arm quarterbacks in the league. Just for folks that are watching the show tonight, this is just my own opinion. Generally speaking, where NFL is concerned, if it's not better than 25-mile-per-hour winds, most of these guys can cut right through that stuff. It doesn't really matter, and the temperature doesn't matter, right? I mean, it's 24 degrees or whatever it's going to be, feels like 13. Not a problem to me. I think first time, if we could just go through it real quick here, Gabe, because they played in week 1, right? 25-9. I'm sure you guys have been through this, but a couple of things to mention. I mean, it was the first week for Lamar and the offense in Todd Monken's system. It was the first week for Houston with the new coaching staff and C.J. Stroud at quarterback. Interesting enough, you know what the line and total were in that game? 9.5 and 43.5. Exactly where we sit tonight. It's crazy.
And off the top of my head, Rob, great point. It was week 1, but let me just say off the top of my head, wasn't it not a 10-6, 10-7 football game midway through the third quarter in that game?
For a while, yep.
10-6?
It wasn't. For Houston, 10-6. And for Houston, they settled for 3 red zone field goals in that game. Baltimore, 3 first and goals, all were touchdowns. That's probably your difference in the game. Interesting, one more coincidence here, Gabe. In that game, the Ravens played without their number 1 cornerback, Marlon Humphrey. He won't play tomorrow. They played without Mark Andrews. He won't play tomorrow. They played without Ben Cleveland. He is now this backup right guard. But there's a lot of similarities between these. I would say this. The first thought that crossed my head, DeMeco Ryans, defensive-minded guy, go to the tape, make some adjustments. But these offenses have progressed so much. Baltimore's got a grasp on Monken's system now. Houston's got a grasp on Bobby Slowick's system now. And Bobby Slowick, play calling wise, has been absolutely tremendous.
This is tougher for Baltimore because because Houston know what the Ravens are offensively. You're seeing a new Houston offense that Baltimore did not see in week 1.
Yeah, I think Baltimore that's exactly right. And I think Houston didn't see Baltimore execute this new offensive system the way they're executing it now. So to my point about over, Gabe, I think both of these offenses probably have some advantage. The Texans stopped the run pretty well, but I do think Baltimore runs against anybody. I mean, average 155 a game. So if you can balance things out, they'll score. Certainly think that Stroud can get to 17, right, against this Baltimore team. They got to 9 with, like I say, 3 red zone field goals the first time. So Singletary's run pretty good. 6 of the last 9, he's gained 63 yards or better. If they can do a little bit of that mixed in, I think that you probably get yourself over. This number, just to me, Gabe, value-wise, it seemed too low, 43.5. I think they pushed it too far, and I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back a little.
Cam likes the Cam. You're on the Baltimore Ravens to cover in this game. I'm taking the Houston Texans. Rob, what are you doing as far as the side is concerned?
Well, somebody asked me today, out of all these dogs, the big dogs, not counting the Buffalo Kansas City game, which one would you think could win? I don't think any of them will win, but I think point spread wise, I would rather be on Houston than be on Green Bay or Tampa Bay. So I would probably say Houston.
I brought it up earlier, my concern. I'm trying to talk myself into Green Bay, but my concern is that it could get away from them because San Francisco are going to score, and it wouldn't surprise me. Like, if they lost 38-28, I don't cover the number. If they lose, 38-24, I don't cover the number. But therefore, you notice where I'm going with this, Rob. How the hell are we not betting this game to go over the number on Saturday night? Because I think the Niners are getting into the 30s, and the Packers will do their thing. Right? Maybe they backdoor it. Maybe they lose by 7. Maybe they lose by 10, 14. But I think there's going to be points put up on the board in this game.
Yeah, I think, and I start with the Green Bay defense, Gabe. Again, I think we pointed this out last week. The last 2 regular season games of the year being what they were, Chicago blew a lot of good offensive chances, turned them into field goals. Green Bay looked pretty good statistically in that game on defense. The week before, they played the 4th-string quarterback, Jaron Hall from Minnesota. They look good. But you dig the 3 before that, they're giving up 30 to Carolina, 34 to Tampa Bay, and 24 to the Giants, 3 of the worst offensive teams in football. And I'll say this, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it bugs the heck out of me. Like in the Green Bay-Dallas game last week, Dallas amasses 37 first downs and over 500 yards of offense. And people will say, well, it was in garbage time. It's garbage yardage. Now, the counter to that all the time is if you're a defense and the other team has to throw to catch up, the old phrase is they just pinned their ears back and got after the quarterback. So either you can do it or you can't, right? You backfit your argument to whatever the result was in the end. Green Bay couldn't get to the quarterback. They couldn't stop Dallas from going up and down the field at the end of that game. I don't know how they're going to stop San Francisco tomorrow, to tell you the truth. I really don't. And Gabe, to your point, boy, if they can open up a couple holes for Aaron Jones and do just enough, they're going to score enough points to get this over 50.5. The odds makers leaving us the key number of 51 to cash. You got to take advantage of that and play over 50.5. Good conditions in San Francisco. I don't see why not.
Hey, listen, quick thing about that. Dak Prescott obviously struggled a bit last week, missed a couple of passes early, but the Cowboys' defense was way worse than Dak Prescott was. Like, Dak is the face of the loss somehow, but the Packers were shredding them, and the Cowboys actually put up a bunch of points when it was all said and done, and they couldn't get a stop. They couldn't get the stop at all. And now, you talk about San Francisco. Listen, Green Bay are playing with house money if Aaron Jones can get things going. But one thing I'll bring up, and I've been talking about the Carolina game a lot and hang my hat on that. But one thing I'll say, Rob, is look at San Francisco. They gave up a bunch of points to Arizona. I remember the Arizona game. It was right near the end of the year. They kept scoring. Arizona kept punching back. San Francisco really couldn't stop it. They were just so damn good. It was like, well, McCaffrey just scored again. And then, boom, Kyler Murray would dial it up and go down the field and score on them. They just couldn't keep up. I sort of see the same thing with the Packers here, but we just saw Baltimore go in here a couple of weeks ago on Christmas night, hang 33 on them, holding to 19. Like, it's the Dennis Green line, Rob. We crown San Francisco's ass, but they're not invincible, bro. Like, you know what I mean? They lost to the Cincinnati Bengals this year. They lost to the Browns this year. They got their ass handed to them by the Ravens a couple of weeks ago, right? Like I just said, Arizona went up and down the field on them and traded points with them. So I wouldn't dismiss Green Bay. I understand it can get away from them a bit.
C.J. Stroud looked like he's been playing in the league for a decade as the former number one overall pick.
Give me the 9.5 outright. Plus 385 outright. We smashed the 49ers.
The Tampa stuff just doesn't feel repeatable.
I've always thought that Baker Mayfield was better than people give him credit for.
Make sure you are locked in.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Last year, the Purdue Boilermakers upset by the 16 seed Fairleigh Dickinson. Is history going to repeat itself?
Purdue is capable of winning 6 games in the NCAA tournament, but the fact is, until Purdue proves that it's capable of not just advancing, but advancing far in the bracket in March, this is going to be the storyline. And I've said that to you throughout the offseason.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
They were best friends. Like Siakam's best friend on the team was Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher's best friend on the team was Pascal Siakam. They're not American, right? So there's different cliques in the NBA, and they were very, very tight. So Chris Boucher, I got rattled seeing Chris Boucher and thinking about the memories. But Raptors responded.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We're kicking it with Cam Stewart, Rob Vino in the house. Tony Finn will join us at level 3. Me and Rob love totals, and one thing I love about Rob is, he loves to bet on. I can't wait, Rob. I think it's March 30th that the new league kicks off, but it kind of sucks because we have less games now, but the quality of football should be pretty good with the merger of the XFL and the USFL. But how about this? There's a new women's hockey league, Rob, and all the sports books have it. All the sports books have it. It's look it up, man. It's mainstream. It's picking it up, and so all the mainstream sports books have it. It's early in the season so far. We're 11-2 to the under 5.5 on the season. All right, so it's one of these deals where I know you respect whether you're watching it, like it, this, that, or whatnot. Like there's something going on here. So they set it at 5.5 all the time. We crushed it. All right, like I went like 7-0 type of thing. It was like an ATM machine. Like last night was the first night I broke even. I didn't win, and I was mad. I was like, I cannot believe I didn't win like $1,000 in this league tonight. I was like surprised the ATM card didn't work, right? But so they've moved it to 4.5. All right, but it's 4.5 plus money. Now all the games are checking in at 5 all the time. All right, so basically what I'm doing is last night I did a parlay, alt line, both under 5.5 at 1. They both got to 5, but in game 5.5. As soon as the game starts, there's a goal that's scored. Boom, you take the under 5.5. It's 11-2, and we got games tomorrow actually on tap. I'll send you a message about it, Rob. But there's something to this here, and the games are on TV as well. When you're clicking around, you'll notice it's on Bally Sports. They're getting a lot of it's on TV everywhere. They're getting a lot of attention.
Man, that's a good look out of you. I would have never thought. I thought maybe one night I was on, I might have heard you talking to Joe Madden about the Women's Hockey League, but I have no knowledge of it. But it's good to know we can cash off of it. So, that's a good look out of you. Yeah.
Hey, remember what Mo Sizlak said on The Simpsons? If it moves, you can bet on it. Who cares what league it's in?
That's right. If they attach a number to it, Cam, it's moves, fair game.
We bet. You should see some of the.
I watch it.
I'm just golf today. I'm like, ooh, VJ sings. VJ, his son's the caddy. Excellent. Like, I had a matchup bet.
Listen,
hey man, we'll bet on anything here. This is what we
all
do.
you need to know, and the best way of putting this, Rob, is all you need to know is there's a bunch of games tomorrow. There's no lines yet. Like they're getting beat, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like this has an arena feel to it. Like they're posting lines like a couple hours before the games. And then, there's not a mass move, but there's a little pocket of us that are jumping in on this stuff. Not that they ended up moving to 4.5. So I'll send you a message in the morning because I look now. They don't want to get beat overnight. They're not leaving this thing overnight while they sleep, right? And they wake up in the morning and find out, dear God, people just hammered that Minnesota women's team overnight. For the record, Minnesota are undefeated. They're the team to beat. Montreal are pretty good. Ottawa are bad. Toronto are bad. So there's a couple of trends that are developing already. Okay, Rob, so speaking of trends, and there's a lot of them. And let me just throw one out there. So we threw it out there briefly. Teams that win in the wild card weekend are 13-50 the following week, but they're 25-38 against the spread historically. This one's from our guy Mark Lawrence, which is interesting. Teams that are off the bye, so like NFL teams with a bye week in the NFL playoffs that lost their last regular season game of the year, Rob, are 1-8 against the spread the last 9 times it's happened. Baltimore and San Francisco, both in those roles.
And do you take into account that Baltimore rested all their starters? That's why they lost that game? I mean, I don't know. It does, okay.
No, but my deal is, I hold it against them more because you haven't been off for 2 weeks. You've been off for 3 weeks. You're almost like a college football team that's playing a bowl game. Right. You haven't played 3.5 weeks. Like I don't know what you're going to be like now. It's been a long layoff. I was just throwing that out there. But here's something more substantial is this ain't a trend. It's just reality. The Buccaneers are 12-6 against the spread this year in 18 games. And Baker Mayfield is 9-3 as an underdog this year, Rob.
How about that? Now that's worth looking at. That's an interesting
like
game.
If you want to get into, you didn't like the last one.
I like that one.
Yeah. I like this one.
The other one. The other one I could question.
I always say that, Rob. Football trends are like to bettors or what polls to the politicians. If a politician doesn't like the poll, He'll say, you know what? The New York Times is a failing news crap-ass organization. If you like the poll, you're like, hey, the LA Times has me up by 18 points. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Bettors are the same
right.
way. That trend doesn't mean anything. But if you like it and it convinces you it's on your side, you're like, yeah, I like that trend. But sorry, go on.
It's true.
And for guys like me, Gabe, that really don't use the technicals I'm not a killer sports guy running in there and looking up 18 trends every single night, which a lot of guys do. And you could play these games a million different ways. It's an inexact science, this sports handicapping. But yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield, those numbers I wasn't aware of as an underdog. Would they sway me off of Detroit if I like Detroit? Probably not. I think every situation is always individual.
Do you like Detroit?
I think I do. And I'm going to tell you why real quick here. A couple of things that happened against Philly. First off, you're on a short work week, right? If you're Tampa, you got the Monday game, and now you're going to come back and play on Sunday. So short work week. But that aside, what made Tampa Bay successful on Monday night was Todd Bowles basically on defense could just say, you know what we're going to do on first down, guys? We're going to blitz. You know what we're going to do on second down? We're going to blitz. You know what we're going to do on third down? We're going to blitz because Philly has no options. They can't run it. They can't block us. They have no pass catchers other than Devontae Smith. That all changes against Detroit, right? Detroit's got, football, when you boil it all down, it comes down to the trenches, right? Detroit's offensive line is arguably one of the two best in the game. So they're going to run it, and they're always going to be balanced, which takes that blitz away from you a little bit. And Jared Goff under pressure actually has been pretty good this season. So I think Detroit will move the football. Tampa Bay really can't run it that well. They depend on the pass. But again, if the Rams could score a touchdown, Gabe, I've got 38 points at halftime in that game. I can't get over last week. It was driving me crazy with the Rams kicking these field goals. With his receiving core, Detroit shows you they can't stop a passing game even if he can't run. Detroit does two things well on defense. They stop the run, and Aiden Hutchinson rushes the passer pretty well. But if you can protect Baker, he's going to score his points too. The primary play for me in this game, and it got pushed up today, right? It went from 48.5 to 49.5. Got to play the over. It's in great conditions. Now, Rob. And
I'm seeing 50s
now,
pop up, bro.
Don't let it get to 51, viewers. Take it.
I got to ask you guys, because you guys love overs, probably not going to go 4-0 to the over. What game goes under, in your opinion, guys? You tell me.
Maybe the Buffalo, as crazy as it sounds, maybe the Buffalo-Kansas City game.
You know what? I
do like the over that game, but it wouldn't shock me just in the sense that the Chiefs are like 5-2 to the under in the last 7. Yeah. If you look at the Bills, the Steeler game was a weird one, but the Dolphin game played to the under that was like a critical division on the line, 21-14 game. Remember when the Chiefs and the Bills played a critical game a couple of weeks ago as well? That one stayed under, Rob, but I'm just a mark. I'm betting all 4 games to the over. I think this one's going to go over. I got Buffalo winning this game like 30-24.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. The first game was 21-14, right? The Kadarius Toney game where he's offsides, and otherwise KC would have had a touchdown there. It stays under the number. But those Buffalo injuries on the defensive side, Gabe, just make me think that at some point in time, Kansas City's got to score some points. And when you're playing as defense, it's as banged up as that.
Rob, Travis Kelce's 5.5 receptions. He might get that in the first drive of the game for the Chiefs.
Dude, the drops I saw him have against Miami, he was driving me crazy. They'll throw it to him for sure. So you're going to get your targets.
Oh, no, I know. I didn't mind he dropped them because it was 5.5 last week and he had 5 in the first half. I was like, damn, he could have had 9 in the first half. He keep dropping them. That's what happens. Taylor Swift's his girlfriend. High maintenance. You know
exactly.
What I'm saying?
She's high maintenance. No, he's got a lot on his mind, man. This is some regular
I just read a story, Cam.
Yep.
No, I'm dead serious. I just read a story the other day that when the season's over, he's going to propose. Like they're going to get married. And he's already taken his Super Bowl rings to a jeweler. And he's taking all the diamonds from the Super Bowl thing, and he's making this super ring for her and stuff.
Wow.
So it's time to end his career on Sunday.
Yes, Brett.
No, I mean with a loss. With a loss. I don't mean with an injury. No, I mean no, with a loss. No, Galuli. With a loss. With a loss. He just says, I've already won Super Bowls. I'm going to be like Gronk. I'm going to go and I'm going to do FanDuel, kick field goals and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he would break Galuli in half like a pencil.
What's the theme of the show tonight? Galuli, like goon jobs and taking people out. But I
I
gotta
don't know
say this,
why my
though.
mind went
If you
there.
guys play all overs and you and Rob are big over guys, I think at worst you're going 3-1. One game might go under, but they put some of these totals too low. And that's the whole thing. It's the playoffs, and you bring out everything in the kitchen sink. That's the whole thing. It's like the computer can come up with something, but it's like rushing yards. Like
What was it last week? It was 2-2 last week.
Yeah,
I thought all
but-
4 games were going over last week, and it ended up going 2-2. But like we said, that Ram-Lion game had no business staying under.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my whole
and
point.
the Tampa Bay Philly game should have.
Yes. You're right, Rob. And Philly was just so inept. But I will say this. These running back props, Morency, it's all or nothing. Like, they put Baker Mayfield at 8.5. His first run was 7 yards. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't play as many props, but that's the whole thing. You don't think, like, with a game on the line, Allen can bust one for, like, 60 yards, like, right down the middle, like he's running down the stretch at the Kentucky Derby? It's just one of those things, like, the computer puts it out, but you also have to think the human element. What are you going to do to win this game? The answer is anything. And you bring it all out. That's the whole point. So I'm with you guys.
Hey,
I
Gabe,
played
let me say
Baker
this real
Mayfield
quick.
over 9.5 rush yards
Yeah,
against
I got an 8.5.
against the Eagles the other night. He ended up with 16. What's that, Rob?
I just want to make a point about this Kansas City receiving core that we've heard all season. We've watched them drop balls, right?
Oh, and
all
just
of a sudden
quickly with that, Rob, did you see the injury report today for the Chiefs wide receivers, too? Everyone's talking about Buffalo Bills on the defense. The Chiefs don't have a lot of bodies on offense to throw the ball to, but go on.
No, it's crazy because the point is being made that they can't score anymore because the receiving core is bad, right? But then I went back and looked because they scored 31 in the Super Bowl last year without Tyreek Hill. Their second leading receiver on that team was J.J. Smith-Schuster. He had 29 catches on the year. He was their other starting wide receiver. And right now, Rashee Rice has 79 regular season catches, not counting the 9 from last week. So really, they don't have a lot of different personnel. I think it's just the fact that the offensive line hasn't blocked as well, and Travis Kelce hasn't had a Travis Kelce season. It used to be last year where you knew, the whole stadium knew the ball was going to Kelce, and he'd make the catch anyway. Same type of receivers this year, but we know the ball's going to Kelce. He doesn't get open. He doesn't catch the ball all the time. So I don't know that there's been such a downgrade in talent, but it's not.
It's
it
a good
hasn't
point.
worked as well for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every drop gets magnified in the social media age. You know what it is? Good. I was just thinking what you just said, Rob. It's become so predictable, their offense, too, with the Kelce thing is it's harder for him to catch balls, too, because he's getting hit now more as soon as he catches it. It used to be like he's open. He's a little slower now. It's predictable that, dude, they're going to Kelce. So even if you don't get there in time, guys, make sure we smoke him. And he's often double-teamed. If you'll notice oftentimes, guys, Kelce's going up for a catch, and he's getting hit twice by people. Like, they're coming at it. He's a big dude, though. And the guy's a stud. Like I said, I know everyone wants to hate him because he's this and that and stuff. I don't. And the guy's beat my ass as a Bills fan. And I think he's a cool dude. He's a funny dude, and he's a hell of a football player. So I got no beef with the dude. I just want to beat his ass on Sunday for once. We'll wrap up with Rob on the other side.
Playoff quarterback. C.J. Stroud looked like he's been playing in the league for a decade as the former number one overall pick.
Give me the 9.5 outright. Plus 385 outright. We smashed the 49ers.
The Tampa stuff just doesn't feel repeatable.
I've always thought that Baker Mayfield was better than people give him credit for.
Make sure you are locked in.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Last year, the Purdue Boilermakers upset by the 16 seed Fairleigh Dickinson. Is history going to repeat itself?
Purdue is capable of winning 6 games in the NCAA tournament, but the fact is, until Purdue proves that it's capable of not just advancing, but advancing far in the bracket in March, this is going to be the storyline. And I've said that to you throughout the offseason.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
they were best friends. Like they like Siakam's best friend on the team was Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher's best friend on the team was Pascal Siakam. They're not American, right? So there's different cliques in the NBA, and they were very, very tight. So Chris Boucher, I got rattled like seeing Chris Boucher and thinking about the memories. But Raptors responded.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
One that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, we got a couple more minutes with Rob Vino. We always appreciate his time. So, Rob, who's going to win? Buffalo? Please tell me Buffalo because I respect you. Buffalo or Kansas City? And or on the way out here, any little college basketball tidbits for us on the way out for tomorrow?
You know, the Buffalo side intrigues me, Gabe, just because it's still under a field goal. And they're at home. They get KC in their place now. If ever it's going to happen for them, I do worry about the defensive injuries. You and I talked off air with Cam about it. It's a tough to overcome. But Sean McDermott's overcome it all season long. I mean, they've been banged up.
Their defensive line has been really good. You're right. The secondary's been beat up all year. The linebackers, Russo's really come on, man. Really, really come on. Number 50, Russo out of Miami. And Espinosa out of Iowa has been a stud.
Great call, Morency. And they've been playing playoff games forever. This team's battle-tested. When you're in that situation and you got to win, it becomes a mentality. And it's like, okay, we know what to do. If things get a little bit rough, we're not going to panic, and they're going to handle the situation. I think it's a good spot for them.
Yeah,
Rasul Douglas is back, the cornerback. And it looks like Taron Johnson's going to be able to play. They won't have Rapp, their safety, which is going to be a problem. They don't have Benford. They don't have Spector, but they should be able to manage and win this game. I just think the Bills will be able to outscore them, Rob. Josh Allen has that John Elway won't be stopped vibe going on to me.
Yeah, that little helicopter out of John Elway, right? I mean,
exactly.
I've been a Broncos fan since I was a kid, so you bring up a good name there. Yeah, it's their time, right? It just feel like Kansas City, if you can stop Pacheco in this game and force that team to go to the air, you and I, again, we talked about missing receivers for KC tomorrow. They've still got about 3 or 4, but they don't throw it as well. And, you know, Taylor Rapp, I guess, probably better against the run, but KC doesn't go over the top very much. I mean, will Mecole Hardman beat them over the top? I'm not sure. I think Buffalo probably wins by 3 and gets at least 3 and gets the onto the next round.
Rob Vino, awesome stuff. 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Anything college basketball?
You know what? I haven't even given it a look yet, Gabe, so I can't give you anything with any conviction. But I'll pay attention to that women's hockey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, follow Rob online. He'll have college tomorrow ready to go. He's going to be up all night now.
Yeah, exactly.
I will.